All right, I'm back. Let's see, where are we? Main. Silbicam. All right, here we go. So we are, okay, we can turn you back to main. And you all messages can go away. We're good here. Zilby, hi. All right, so our next stage is now to recreate this, but inside of Rust. So let's go ahead and do this. Back to our code. We have all of this stuff sitting in here. So as a quick, what do we call it? As a quick sort of review of where we are in Rust here. We're using a crate called GraphQL client. It seems to be really good with what we want to do here. Basically, we can do queries and mutations from GraphQL. I don't know if the, what is it called? Subscriptions work. We could try that sometime just to see what happens. But for example, I have like a money type. It didn't know what that was, so I just have to like override that by saying, hey, money is a string. It's fine. We have a queries and mutations folder in which I just put all of the queries that we specifically need in here. Now, unfortunately, in the backend for Rust, the queries need to be static. So like they need to be compiled into the binary. Now this schema is generated at like just one time ahead of time, and like is the static file, and it tells Rust what types are going to be where and how it all sort of works together, and it just sort of makes it work magically. So we have these like struct. So list stores is going to be our query essentially. We then tell it like, hey, it's going to be a query. Here's where the schema is. Here's where the query for this specific query it lives, and make sure it's a debug. And we do that for all of these. And then we have these functions that are going to actually do the thing and then run our query for it. So back down to here. What I want to do is I want to first log in. Now, I realize suddenly, just thinking here, that we have an issue if I want to log in, because I can't run the login without without any permissions. So I do vaguely remember in the documentation here, there is this unauthenticated public access. We need to enable that for ourselves. So once you've configured an admin secret, it will reject any unauthenticated request it receives, okay, which is going to be our first request. You can configure the engine to allow unauthenticated users by defining a specific role, which will be set for all unauthenticated requests. Okay, so we're going to use the jot auth web setup. So jot. Any request which does not contain a jot token is considered an unauthenticated request. You can use the environment variable Hasura GraphQL unauthorized role. Okay, so that's what we want to do. We want to use this unauthorized role to set a role for unauthenticated users. So that's going to be coming back to here. And so All right, so our role, let's just say that this is unauthenticated. Unauthenticated. Let's just copy and paste that to make sure I get it correct. Then so we've learned that we need to like do a full rebuild of Hasura, which is slightly unfortunate, but it's gonna be what we have to do. So let's take everything down. Okay, so you're going to come back up. We're going to have that role sitting in there, so that's going to be fine. We have our backend that's going to be running. This is going to be great. Okay, so our GraphQL URI key, we have this .env, which is hidden from me here. I think, hold on. None of this should be secret because it's going to keyboard cat stuff. So I actually need to there's our .env. Let me just double check really quickly. Yeah, it is fine. So we're going to our localhost GraphQL. Our GraphQL key is not going to be our super password anymore. In fact, we don't need a key because we're going to use that login to get the token. So this goes away, which means we don't get a key anymore. We just get the URI. Okay. How did this go? Everything's good. Let's get you reset up. Okay, so we know we're going to have this unauthenticated, and you're going to have no access to any of these stuff. Okay. Can I add another one? Oh, I can't. Okay, never mind. We have user, which has select. We have to set up this action again. So we're going to call this login. Login is going to take in a username, which is a string, and a password, which is a string. And we're going to get a auth output. Auth output. Okay, so in this case, we're going to get our token, which is a string without a bang, and our error, which is a string without a bang. And we don't need that. Okay, comment, authentication. This is auth 3000. Go to login. Synchronous is fine. So I hit that, and now we can also give permissions. So now we want this unauthenticated, and you have permissions for it to run this specific action. So like the only thing that the unauthenticated thing can do is do this. Okay. All right. What else do we need to look into? Okay, you now exist. We're fine here. If I try to run this, let's make sure that it's working here again. So password, Brooks. Oh wait, no, password is 1234. There. Okay, so that works. And then if we change you, we get this unexpected response because the key message was not present. I guess it needs a message, but we get an error. Okay, so perfect. Now, I want to hit this from you. I think we need to get to redo the schema. And there was a way to do that here. Oh, but I don't think I think I exactly have it inside of here. Let's go find. Well, I might have been not in fish. I might have been in just normal bash. Here it is. This GraphQL. Okay, so this is what I want. We did this GraphQL client, introspect the schema, go to this header, and then we have to give it the super secret password, which is not great because this showed up in the browser, like just in our history, which is not what you want. So if we do this for reals, we're gonna have to like delete the history. And this goes into queries schema, I believe. So this is the one we want. So that should update the schema. And can we actually see? Oh, access denied. Wonderful. Okay, well that's the thing. Okay, so it's keyboard cat now, I think. There we go. I do wonder, can I actually do something with this GraphQL client where I don't hand it the header? Like, can I run you? Will you ask? No. That's not great. I really don't like it when they force you to write like password stuff into the terminal. That's at least make it like an interactive thing where you hide it, and like then it doesn't show up in my history. Epic, you recently discovered that one of your applications by mistake wrote user passphrases into the system log when they did a passphrase reset. Oh no. Oh, that's the kind of thing that will get people hacked into. Especially if you throw those logs into like S3 or something. The downside of just plastering info, form data all over the place. I know. It's one of the reasons why I like in like professional projects to like have a logging service that you use. I don't mean like third party, but like you have like a centralized logging service that goes through, and then you can sanitize and like look for certain things inside of it before it actually gets console logged out. But okay. So great. We have to do this entire thing. So we do that. Head back to here, and now I'm interesting. I'm curious, can we find the login in here? Yeah, there it is. Okay. So name login, kind object, name auth output of type null. Yep, and here's where we can see we get taken our username and password. And I guess, oh, authentication. I guess this is what we're getting back. Where is it? Where is it say token? Is there another one? Or maybe can I see token? Oh, there it is. Oh, so types, fields, name token. And it's a type string, so it figured that out. Okay, so this is all looking good so far. So let's first start with a login. So let's imagine that I'm creating, well, okay, we're just gonna do it first, where we just like we have to hit the login, get the code, and then store that away somehow. So we're probably gonna have to return that back to our main, and then use that token to do a query later. So what do we need to do? We need to have another struct, probably like login. And here we're going to do this entire thing. So it's going to be a query. Oh, schema path. So the schema is going to be fine, but this query path is wrong. So it's queries. I guess technically this is a mutation. Mutations, but we're going to call this login. So login.graphql. All right, I think it's mutation. Oh, we need to then give it the, looking at some of these other ones. Oh, mutation name, and then that works. Okay. See mutation, this is going to be login. We have variables that we're going to pass in. So we need a username, which is going to be a string and it's required, and a password, which is a string that's required. Then we're going to use login. And we can actually just take this straight from here. So login and get those two things back. So password is going to be password. Username is going to be username. Then we're going to get those all things back. Okay, so back to you. I believe we need to constantly restart REST Analyzer here. Okay, so we get this. Now we need to create the function, which is like this, right? So we need this async function login. login, we're going to take in the URI, but then after that, we're probably not going to need anything. We don't need the key because we're going to get that kind of stuff, but we're going to need our username and password passed in. So we're going to do a URI, which is a stir, a username, which is a stir, password, which is a stir. Don't think I need anything else. We are going to return this result with a box dyn error. Okay, so the result is going to have to be that token. So result with a string, which is going to be that token, or a box dyn standard error. Okay. All right, we'll add a to-do in here just to make it not super upset at us right away. So looking at this, we have to set up our variables first, which is not terribly hard. There's a struct that's created by a macro, by this specific derive macro for us. So variables can be equal to login variables so username and password. Okay, so that gives us that. Next thing is going to be we just do the call. So we're going to do a response, which this response we get from GraphQL client. We have to tell it what type of thing we're getting back, so it knows that. So that result is going to be a type response. And you're going to be a login response data. And then we're going to use request. So request client new. Now from that, we're going to do a post to the URI. We have to set some headers here. Now, actually we don't, because we don't know what the Hasura admin secret is anymore, so we don't have to set that at all. This is an unauthenticated request. So we're just going to go straight to JSON. And inside of here, we're going to use a reference to login, build query, pass it in the variables. We're going to send that. We have to await, then get the JSON from that and await again. Okay. Now we should get the result, which is going to be this response login data, and we should see what that is. So let's start with just a debug of this result. And then the to-do will panic it, but that'll be fine. Login variables, you don't like this, do you? Oh, they need to be strings. Okay, fine. Username. To own is fine. Okay, so you're happy there. Now we can call login right here. So we're going to do let the response is going to be our token, right? So like let the token is going to be equal to login. So here's this function. We need to give it the GraphQL URI. We also need to give it your username and our password. We're going to await and unwrap that. Okay, so let's run this. And here we go. We see our token right here. So now this is inside of a response. We have our response data, which is an option, which then has response data inside of it. Okay. So we need to extract this out if possible. I mean, we know it's possible. We got to extract it out. So here's our result. Now, how do I get you out of here? So response, okay, so it has data inside. So this is going to be, let the token equals result dot data. Now this is an option, so we need to unwrap now. Inside of that we have login, because that's the query that we called. We have to unwrap again. Now we have login. So then dot, here we can get the token. Okay, so here we have a token and or error. So we have a token. I wonder if that's an enum. I think it's both, right? Like it's an object with both things. Okay, so we have our token and unwrap all of these things, because they're not required. Like, we might not get them back. That's why they're options. That's why we have to have so many unwraps here. Now, if we changed this type of result, I might be able to do a question marks here. But so we get that, and now we have our token string. I don't need this debug anymore, and I can now return this as an okay with our token. Now, what I probably want to do also is check to see if we have an error. So, I think we want to do an if let sum, this is going to be an error, equals result dot data unwrap login unwrap dot error. Okay, so if we have an error, I want to print this out. So print line. This is going to be error logging in. Print that. Now I could panic at this point in time, or we can return an error, which might make more sense. But this isn't a real error, is it? Because look, this is just a string. So we need to return a real, it's like something that implements error. So we can then do a return standard. Error, that's a trait. You know, let's pull in, we have anyhow, but also we can pull in error, which is one of my favorite error handling libraries. Oh, you don't like, right, I forgot. Cargo add error. maybe. So we'll be able to use the bail crate for this, I believe. There we go. So back to main. So I can then just do bail. Come on. Once Rust Analyzer gets back up and like has indexed error for me. Okay, so we're gonna use a bail error bail, and then this is gonna be our same thing here. So we're just gonna pass it in this error. Mismatched types, expected struct, box sign error, found. Oh, I think we need to put this in a box. Oh, that's, never mind. We can't do bail. Return, error, box, new, error. I think we can do an error here. I forget which one we want to do. I think it might be and it's like create an error just off of something. Wrap a low level error with a new error. Okay, I don't want to do that. I want to just create a new error. Oh, okay, one-off error messages can be constructed. Okay, so we're just gonna use error like that. Okay, so error like this. And we're gonna throw in the string, which is error, which I can't do because I just, let's clone this. There we go. What are you upset about? The traits, report. Oh, do I have to do an into? Like as an error? No? Oh, type annotations required. Oh, you don't know what it is? Okay, I might just give up. We'll just panic. This is not like the appropriate way to do stuff. The appropriate way would be to set up the enum for an error, but I'm not really like focused on that for this specific project. So we're just gonna panic. Which error logging? Actually, I think I can just do panic this way, right? Okay, so then we get you. You are upset because we moved data inside. We potentially moved data inside of here. Yeah, that's a good point. I just need a reference. I don't really need to own you. Let's see. There's a borrow version of unwrap, right? So like data dot, oh, as ref. I don't want to borrow you. Let's see. Hold on, let's see where I can get this. So we have a result. We have our... Okay, let's do this. Okay, so we have a result. We have our data as ref, maybe, here. It's like dot as ref. Okay, so then we get a response data. So then dot login. So then this is gonna be our error, right? What are you? You're this. Okay, you're this response data right now. Oh, okay, yeah. So dot error dot as ref. Then we get this unknown. What if I just do that? Okay, so then this gives me this. Okay, that gives me this response data. So here we're to this point right here. So response data. Then we have the login. That's what it is. Then login. Then we have another as ref. Dot error. And they make it. Okay. Unwrap dot login dot unwrap. Okay, so that's that as ref there. I wonder if I can't do that as ref that many times. Dot. Okay, then we have this token and error. So then I would do an error and get that in here, which this is unhappy. So I kind of wonder, let's do this. Let our response equals, or I can shadow result too. I don't know if that matters. So we're gonna do result dot data unwrap dot login dot unwrap. Okay, so that gives us this login. Now I want to go down the error path on this one. So we're going to do some error equals response dot error. Okay, then there we get that, and we're happy here, and we panic. Otherwise, let token equals, you are going to be response dot token dot unwrap. There we go. Now we're happy. So now I call this. We're going to get the token back, or it's going to be just a complete panic and not great. I can then use this token to make a query. So we're going to bring back one of these queries. Get items. Let's just do this get items one because this includes all this other stuff in it. So we're going to do get items and the URI and key. So the big thing here is that this header is now going to be authorization, and the value is going to have to be, what do you want? Key and value. It doesn't really say, but we know it's going to be a bear. So we're going to have to do a format. We have bear key. Okay, you don't care what that is. Then this should give us access to now grab whatever we want from this. So then get items, and this returns with the items from it. So once we have this token, we're now going to let items get items. We're going to pass in a GraphQL API, and then this is going to be a reference to the token. And then we're going to debug the items. And that should work for us. We have no major errors, just some warnings. Let's run this and see if it works. No, it did not. Okay, so we unwrapped on a none value on line 69. That's part of the items here. Okay. Let's make sure that this thing is all set up properly. So we do have this permissions. We have user. User can select this, but user cannot select the stores. I wonder if that's a problem there. So let's make sure that you can use the store. There we go. That was our problem. We didn't have the right permissions set up inside of Hasura, so we weren't allowed to get it. So we did get something back. It was just empty because we were saying, I want all the items, but look at this. I need the store name as part of this to grab out of it. So when I was trying to unwrap from the store name, that was giving me none because I wasn't allowed to see it. So there we go. We're able to log in, get some data out of that, and we'll get the token, and then go back and use that token to like do another request. So I could see this being part of an API where we have a form that passes in a username and password. That gives us a token. We send that back to the front end. The front end now can send this part of a header. We can grab that and then use that for all the requests. Or we can just do the GraphQL request from the front end. Either way works, really. But this is pretty nice. I like it. And now we have a protected Hasura. So like we can't do any of these inserts if we want to. We can't do an insert. We can't do an update. We can't do anything from a REST right now because we don't have access. So I like it. It's pretty nifty. So I'm thinking that like the base part of like the exploration of Hasura and Rust is probably done at this point in time. I know it's like not perfect of like what we've done, but I think it's enough for us to sort of like see what we can do and maybe start like planning and figuring out a project to do with this. So I'm going to think about that throughout the week. I have some ideas like a Brooks Builds website that maybe includes some setup for that. And then we'll probably start building something like that out next time. There's some other things we want to look into potentially. Like rebuilding the authentication stuff in Rust. I don't think that's going to be that hard. So I'll have to figure out like what the architecture is going to be, how things are going to work together, probably set up some like another database for it, but like the real one, and yeah, go from there. But that'll have to be next week on Sunday, since that's my streams right now is just Sundays. So anyways, everybody, thank you so much for stopping by, hanging out with me today. This was great getting this all set up. I hope that you have a great rest of your Sunday and a great week. And I will see you all next weekend. Bye.